Yeah, I
absent
was
for
I
some
couldn't
reason.
make it.
Well, it is 2 a.m. over there, so we'll give him a chance. I'm sure he's freshening up.
Yeah, I'm I'm excited. It's
Mm,
interesting. I do want to hear natives Brits because like I follow British politics like
mm,
more closely than a reasonable American probably should.
exactly. Yeah, but it's
And I'm very interested to hear like a native Brits, not only a native Brits, but like a very interesting native
mm,
Brits opinion because
yeah.
he's not just a normie who's gonna have like the milk toast like labor liberal perspective or labor conservative perspective.
Mm. I even asked him beforehand. I was like, I just want to be sure that like we're not going to discuss anything that like could possibly get you jammed up. So like, let me know. And he's like, no, we're good. The government hasn't actually passed laws against free speech yet. And I'm just like, oh, okay, good.
I mean, it's gonna be a difficult situation
Mm-hmm.
for two American anarchists talking to a British person living in Britain.
Yep. Yeah.
um, and us be like, yeah, I mean, if my local judge was a pedophile who, was arrested or like sentencing people for 2 years for waving my own nation's flag, I would be redacted,
Mm.
heavily redacted, redacted very heavily.
Yes. Oh man. Bet. I hope he's awake. Wish there was like a chant we could do to summon him, like Bloody Mary or something like that.
What would that be?
I don't know. Cybersmith, Cybersmith, bring us a pet.
No. I mean, I'm sure he's a good sport to an extent, but like having a know your meme page about you
that no,
um
that's
cannot be good for your like psychological health.
mm. Actually, I wanted to ask him. Like, so I don't know the name of the other podcast, but I know he's been interviewed by other podcasts. Like, there's one that put half of his interview behind like a paywall,
Oh,
and I thought it was funny because I was like, did you guys like give him his cut, or are you just profiting off of his labor unfairly?
Right.
Are you exploiting him? Do not exploit the cybersmith. We won't allow this. We'll have to ask him when he gets on, because for all we know, he got like.
I mean, I guess the situation is if he voluntarily agrees to be exploited
That's true.
and
That, that,
have
that, that would
your
circle around to like his main thing. Like, if you voluntarily agree to be made somebody's human pet, should it be okay?
I don't know. We got plenty of people. If
Yeah.
you want to be a human pet, power to you.
Mm. Especially if you actually do neuter yourself. That's actually a service. So we don't need your kind reproducing.
We need a filter. You know, honestly, that's what legalizing gay marriage has been, as a massive biological filter.
That and abortion too. Like
That and abortion. But what was did you watch Brett Weinstein? Was it Brett on Michael Mouse's podcast this week?
I did not. I'm that guy who hasn't seen that thing in all situations.
Let me just make sure I'm thinking of the right Weinstein brother. Because one's an astrophysicist and one's an evolutionary biologist. So yeah, Brett's the evolutionary guy.
Okay.
And Michael asked him about, intelligence distributions in human populations. And Brett gave this really, really long, like maybe 2/3 of the podcast answer about environmental toxins and nutrition and all this other stuff. And said one of the things he kept revolving back to was that there's no scenario in which you would in which more intelligence is not beneficial to the fitness of somebody despite their station, like even if you're a slave or whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's fair. But we're not in a survival of the fittest natural selection scenario. This is artificial selection.
It's true.
And you're paying people, subsidizing the births of people who make very short-sighted decisions and stuff like that. That we're literally doing we're not doing a eugenics experiment. We're doing a dysgenics experiment when it comes to the welfare state, which is like the immediate reply from me was like, but we're not in a natural selection scenario where, we're culling off the stupidest people or something like that. It's very much like as long as you got a heartbeat, you can reproduce in this country, and
if you produce a positive
you can get
tax
paid to
value,
reproduce.
yeah,
is the less value you contribute to society.
It's your value as tax cattle. That's what's important. So like if you generate a positive tax value, absolutely. Here's some subsidies. Have 8 kids with 3 different people. Why not?
Well, it made me have this realization that because one of my other favorite channels on YouTube is Caleb Hammer, the financial audit guy. He's a millennial guy who brings people on. They go through their finances and explain how they're stupid for being poor, or they're poor because they're stupid. And
you got KFC 8 times this month. Come on, man.
Oh, it's worse than that.
Yeah.
It's like every minute of their life they're eating out, and then they like go and get like a car loan at 25% for some brand new car. So anyways, I'm just like watching those people made me realize that slavery did not go away. We just converted it into the credit system.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, yeah, very, very unfortunately low IQ people will be burdened their entire lives with paying off debt. And if slavery was legal, they would be in the exact same situation.
I actually had a gentleman come into my store the other day, and we do have some financing programs in store, and this guy was making a payment on something he owed. And I had to explain to this man, who, by the way, was probably in his 60s, how a minimum credit card payment worked. And I'm just like, Man, in my head, if you don't understand that you got to at least pay $65 to just meet like the bare minimum of what they expect you to pay to not incur charges, why did you do this in the first place? Who told you this was a
Well,
good idea?
it feels like it should be illegal
It should be.
to do these kinds of products to these people, but it's like they're a little bit too functional to be at the Ark,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yep.
Sorry, I don't know if that's a good like analogy, but like
No,
or the best comparison on the spectrum up from it. But
no, that makes sense. What else was I? No, I'm gonna come back to something in a second. But where
this
is?
has been a baller pre-show.
Yeah, it has. But we need the man, the myth, the legend. I've messaged him and I've tagged at him in the Discord server.
Do you know what he does for like employment? I don't want to dox him. I'm just saying, like,
I don't
is
either.
he a
I
software engineer or
assume maybe
something?
he I don't know. He hunts for Jack the Ripper in the streets of London. I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
maybe he's like a train systems person or
Oh, like
something
a
like that.
conductor. Yeah, like he has like the hat and he's like, hey, do you have your ticket? Tickets, please.
Would that be the conductor or would that be the who drives the train? I thought
Engineer.
that was the
That's the
conductor.
engineer.
That's the engineer.
Yeah.
I don't know shit about trains.
It's
I'm getting
you're
my
autistic.
autism card
You're
revoked.
autistic and you don't know shit about trains? What the fuck, man? What?
I know there's narrow gauge
Oh.
and standard gauge.
Oh.
Um and what else is there? I know I've ridden like the train from DIA to Denver.
Hmm.
It was actually quite nice.
I've ridden on a train once, so like I shouldn't talk too much shit, but it is kind of nice. Like it's a slow thing. You just got like a nice view, big windows. There's not really
Well,
any
I should say
turbulence.
I have ridden the high speed in France
Hmm.
before, and that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to
It
do
was
that.
yeah, it was like 2 hours. No airport security. You're on the ground the whole time. You get to walk around the cabin. You can
Hmm.
go to the bathroom. You're going fucking like 160 miles an hour.
Fuck yeah,
And you're just like flying through the French countryside. It's like 2 hours from Lyon to Paris or whatever. It's like ridiculously short.
nice.
Um, you go through like a tunnel. And there's a sonic boom every time. It was awesome.
Oh, that's hell yeah. Gonna go to
And
France just
then
to ride the trains.
I would, I would. And then the trains in Switzerland, they're slower because the turns are way tighter in the mountains, but you're in the mountains. You're literally like take a train ride because like instead of having to drive and like you're looking at the road and you're like reading foreign um road signs and trying to figure shit out and there's traffic and oh shit there's some goats crossing or whatever um like you're on the train and like you just look out the window the entire time and just enjoy it and like you can walk over to the dining car and get like a freshly baked croissant and like a espresso and you're just like this is how people were meant to this I feel like aristocracy.
This
This
is
is great.
this is white people travel. And that's what it is.
This is
If we're
white
being
people
honest.
travel. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And I think like I would genuinely prefer to ride a train to a plane
Mm.
almost most of the time.
Most of the
Unless it's
time,
like
I would
really, really
too.
far.
Like yeah, like otherwise, like flying is just miserable. Like it's not even the being in the air; it's just the entire airport experience and like being crammed into the plane. It's just not fun. But I think I'm gonna throw the intro up and we'll just get going with bullshit until Mr. Smith decides to join us, and
Yeah.
otherwise we'll just kill time. So here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 150 of The Altar. So, tonight, ideally, we are going to have the cybersmith joining us at some point to discuss the goings-on in the UK with the riots over certain knife-happy individuals and soon counter-riots, I guess, and the crackdown that the UK government seems to be foisting on free speech. Joined here by Max, aka increasingly racist Max. Matt may join us as well. Yimra may join us as well. Life is hard for members of the Alter podcast sometimes. Life gets busy. But here we are. And if anybody happens to see the cybersmith around, shoot him a message.
Give him a little poke, yeah.
A little poke, yeah. Like
excited to talk to him.
Send him a carrier pigeon, perhaps.
Actually, I think this is the last time. So you guys have gotten to talk to the cybersmith, but the
Yes.
last time I was on and the cybersmith was supposed to come on, he didn't come on.
Huh.
And I don't know if does he maybe have a little beef with me?
I don't think so. I
don't think I've ever given him any beef.
I think the issue is that it's 2 a.m. over there. And
that's totally fair.
Yeah, like I think he's just sleeping soundly at the moment, which he should be because I'm sure he works hard. But we're going to have to just be racist for an entire hour by ourselves. I don't know how we're going to do this.
Tell me how you feel about my Instagram reel messages to you. What picture do they paint of me recently?
I'm going to have to go back and refresh because I get so many fucking Instagram reels from people. Like it's a whole.
Oh, it's crazy because like you're one of like 2 people I message.
I have like 5 people, including like Gary, Matt, too. Matt is now on Instagram.
Wait, so Gary's on Instagram?
Yes.
I don't know if he cares about me, but yeah, I think it would be hilarious to follow Gary on Instagram.
Hang on. I'll send you his info. Not going to mention his name on the show because him and his wife have a child.
No, that's fair. No, don't dox him.
I totally don't want to mention that he.
Does he still have the Jurassic Park Jeep?
No, that's Jeremy.
That's Jeremy?
That's Jeremy, yeah.
I don't know how I mixed them up.
Gary, I'm going to tell Gary you confused him for Jeremy, and we're going to see what he has to say about that.
God damn it. Wait, who's Free X Citizen, right?
That's Gary. Jeremy was... No, that was Jeremy. I don't remember Jeremy's username, though. But he was around a while. But he was West Coast, essentially, and then he moved to Texas, I think.
Dude, imagine moving to Texas. That'd fucking suck.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I really don't. I don't want to do that. But the impression I get from your Instagram reels is that you believe in Yakub and you are definitely getting a little more racist every day.
That's what I feel. I feel like the algorithm is feeding into it. You'd think that Meta would be like not encouraging that. But it's like if there's the N-word spoken, it's like it's gonna appear in my feed.
I feel like we're winning the battle, the culture war, actually, because something I posted on Tumblr actually got flagged recently for like violence. So do you remember that like South African man accidentally, quote unquote, shoots a black woman he thought was a hippo? And it's got like the little racist. Oh, hang on. All right. We're going to share this meme right now because this is fucking golden. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, no, it's great. I think she survived. I'm pretty sure she survived. I don't know for sure. Oh, I hope I can find this now. Oh, no. Oh, no. Stand by, everybody. Let's see what I can whip up.
I'm going to go to your blog.
It wasn't too long ago. It was in like the past week.
And I'm going to search the word hippo, but no.
No, because it's just the image macro. It's not.
Oh.
Let's see here. Hang on. Oh, wait. I know where I can find it. It's in the other Discord.
Oh, okay.
Because I made it there it is. Okay. Save image. Gonna save that back to the You
I
can't lose
sure hope
that.
this is worth it. This sounds
I hope it
fire.
is too. I hope it is too. Let's
How
hang
are
on.
you going to share it? Like, or what?
I'm just gonna throw up. There we go. Okay. So I'm sharing. Actually, hang on. Let me not dox everybody in Matt's other Discord. Let's fix
That's a
that real
good
quick.
idea.
Yeah. Hold on. do do do. Okay. All right.
Not doxing all the people
Not
in the.
doxing everyone. La la la
Dude,
la.
I send my like normie friends like a screenshot of that Discord's name,
Mhm.
and they literally think it's just a meme.
Okay, here we go.
Oh no.
But it's the little
Okay, I didn't
racist.
see that.
Okay, yeah, but like they flagged it, and like I thought for sure this is going to be one like they delete it for hate speech or they delete me for hate speech. They just flagged it with a mature label, and that was it. Like they're not doing anything about it.
Oh, okay. That's I
That's
don't
good.
necessarily agree with it, but cuz it's just the only thing is outside of it being a fucking like news article,
Hmm.
right? Is that like they put the little pith cap colonist Rhodesian guy on top.
Exactly. The imperial Chudjack. Oh, so
Wait,
Death.
he's that was the soy
Yeah,
jack
that's Chudjack. Yeah,
guy.
millions must try. Millions must die. Excuse me. Oh, so Death Chilada says it's statistically racist, Max. And that is true. We did
I feel like
establish
that's really
that is
accurate.
that is very
I
accurate.
got so I should say this. I in high school I took AP stats and the teacher was sick one day and or like for a week almost actually and there was a substitute teacher and like the first class I like answered all the questions 'cause, like the teacher who they brought in like didn't really understand stats that well and then they were like okay like what was this at the end of the week like she literally just like had me going through the textbook teaching the class.
Excellent.
So yes, I'm very statistical. I love statistics. It's one of my favorite subjects. Um,
Speaking of statistics, did you hear that there is something out there that is both 13% and half?
it sounds like a Pareto distribution to me.
Yeah.
I it's crazy to think about like the sales team of a company can produce half the revenue, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's me. Hi. Did you know 13% of all jewelers are responsible for 50% of all marriages under the age of 23?
Yeah, what's the percent population that's Mormon
Mm.
or and what's their percentage of marriages under
Let's
25
I'm
or
gonna
whatever?
look that up real quick. So
They
Utah
can't be more than like a
marriage
few
under
percent.
25.
Just because like the number of like total Christians in the U.S. is like only 40, and I feel like Mormons are like only like 1 in 10 Christians.
Well, Utah, I tried some one stat I did find.
No, I'm sure in Utah they make up the majority of Christians. I'm
Oh
just
no, they
saying like
absolutely do.
um U.S.
I was just gonna say
religious
Utah has the lowest average age at which people get married at 25.8 years. It's very low.
25.
Yeah, but that article is
Yeah, I mean
accurate
that checks
as
out.
of 2023. So
Oh, okay. So I was wrong about the total religious mix. Okay, so Protestants make up 33, Catholics make up 22%, other makes up 11, but Mormons as a whole make up only 1% of the US population total. But they're all in Utah, so like the majority of religious people in Utah are Mormon and people getting married are religious are Mormon
this is true.
and
This
they get
is.
married very young.
Mhm.
Like I mean, do you ever watch like the reels of like people going around BYU and being like how
When's your
are you
ideal?
engaged yet?
Yeah, dude, I don't need to
It's like
watch
2
that
weeks
shit.
in,
I
they're
live
all
that shit,
engaged.
man. The BYU kids come to me. Like my store is 10 minutes up the road from BYU. It's also
Oh
right
yeah, no, it
next to
is actually.
UVU. So like they come to me, man. I get it every day.
Honestly, I bet I could send you like a reel of them going around asking the college, like the freshmen in the
And like how many
cafeteria.
I've seen.
And yeah, you could go through and be like, sold them a ring, sold them a ring, sold them a ring.
It's very possible. It's very possible. Some
What's their average budget for these Mormon kids?
oh man, it really depends on like what he does. Like if he's studying something actually useful in college, he's probably broke. So like, or maybe like 2 or 3 grand. I'll have some construction bros in. They're just like, yeah, man, whatever she wants, and she's like, well, I want this, and I like, and like $8,000 later, they've been dating for 5 months, and she has like a 14 karat white gold wedding band with 1 carat natural diamonds and like a 3.2 carat lab created round diamond for just over $8,000. And they've been dating not even 8 months, not even 7 or 6 months, 5 months, and they're gonna get married 3 months from now, and that's okay.
3 months is so short to
Dude,
plan a wedding.
they do that all the time. Like my coworker, bless her heart, got engaged in May and married in July, and planned that shit all through that time. And she has 10 siblings. Sorry, 9 siblings. She's one of 10 brothers and sisters.
How's like, I mean, are the families fronting most of the bills most of the time?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like they're all.
How do you afford to, like, even if you're a millionaire, like
I
how do you
don't
afford to
know.
like,
I do not know. Like the only thing I can think of is there's like an age gradient. So like as the older ones are like, all right, I'm going off. I'm like independent now. You're still having like one or two, and they you just kind of absorb the costs as they come along. But there's like an ideally they just kind of like graduate out of the house.
I guess I just, it's like even like normal people cannot afford to have kids, much less to like pay to have like, I guess they're not like super extravagant weddings all the time. They're probably like a church wedding,
Mhm.
you know? And there's some catering and or like even a potluck. Yeah, I mean, you could do it really, really cheap. I get that, but that's not what they're doing all the time, right?
Right.
I guess there's no alcohol at a Mormon
No,
wedding,
there's
so you
no
save a lot of
alcohol.
money.
I mean,
You save a lot of money that
some
way.
Mormon weddings there's gonna be like a bar sometimes. Like it
Really?
depends on what kind of Mormons they are. Some of them do drink, but like it's rare. Like you're never if there's a temple wedding involved, there's of course it's dry. Like you're not bringing alcohol inside a Mormon temple, but outside of that, it's possible.
Jesus brought tons of grape juice to the wedding
Of
he
course, yeah,
went to.
of
It's
course.
not the first miracle that appears in the Bible is that Jesus brought some grape juice to a wedding.
She shows up with the box wine. Sorry, the box grape juice.
I'm not kidding. It's so funny to be like from like the Catholic perspective, or like the culture. I'm not like actually Catholic, but like culturally, like being used to Catholicism, where it's like, yeah, the very first miracle that Jesus does in the Bible, like himself instead of like the Holy Spirit or whatever, is he goes to a wedding and turns the water into wine because he wants to party harder. Or not
Mm-hmm.
he wants to party hard, but he wants everybody to party and enjoy the wedding, right? And the Catholics are like, you don't have to twist my arm.
Yeah, man. Like
What?
just fill my cup. My cup overrunneth. Where is this fine gentleman?
Yeah, that's a great question. Speaking of Jesus, did you see that they had done some new forensics on the Shroud of Turin?
I did see this, yes, that supposedly actually support its proposed date and things like that.
Yeah, so it's funny because everybody always said like the face structure and like the hair and everything, it can't be a Middle Eastern man who this was taking a picture of. And it's like, do you not realize prior to the Arab conquest that everybody in the Mediterranean looked like, the Roman statues and the Greek statues that were made? Like they weren't Arab, they were
They were
um
Hellenistic.
yeah, they're Mediterranean Hellenistic, is um so it was crazy to me. I mean, I always thought it was kind of a like a really convincing fake that was made in medieval times. But like I mean, I'm not a forensics guy, but it seems I'm a scientist, um, so that's a form of forensics, right? And it's like, yeah, that's really really awesome, really interesting, awesome in the like literal sense of like it inspires awe that like they could do the forensics and say, hey, yeah, it seems like it's actually 2,000 years old and this was an actual dude who actually bled on this thing.
Atheists BTFO.
I mean, you could still be an atheist and I
You can.
think believe in most of the Jesus story. Like, there's more written things about Jesus than there is like Julius Caesar. I
Mm.
think was one of the stats people have thrown out. Like, there's more independent sources verifying Jesus's existence.
More
Are they contemporary?
sources.
Is one of the big questions. um,
Julius Caesar.
but like, I don't think there's a lot of doubt that there was a guy named Jesus in the Middle East in modern day Judea slash Palestine 2,000 years ago who was preaching and a Jewish rabbi
Mm.
and had controversial opinions that led to his crucifixion by the Roman emperor. And whether he was the actual son of God or as his cult of following beatified him into the son of God after the fact, that's where you come down as a Christian or not, right? So.
Mm.
So it's actually funny to me. I was reading a list of people who had been excommunicated,
Mm. Any notable
and
any interesting or notable names?
well, so it started with me thinking I is watching a video about a map game that I don't play it that frequently, but I do like watching videos about the map game EU4, Europa Universalis 4.
Familiar with it, yeah.
Yeah, familiar. Okay, and you get a special casus belli to declare war and you don't get aggressive expansion so other nations don't hate you if it's an excommunicated ruler. And
Mm.
it's like, well, I know Henry VIII was excommunicated, but how many other monarchs were excommunicated over the years? And then I went through the history of excommunication on Wikipedia or whatever, and it was just like, oh, okay, I guess this has been a thing for a really long time. It happens all the time. And I had always thought that no, there was no need to excommunicate like Charles Darwin because
Mm.
he was not Catholic to begin with. But there were other like evolutionary biologists in like the 1890s who still got
Mm.
excommunicated
Damn.
from the Catholic Church, like Brazilian guys, Portuguese guys, Spanish guys, and stuff like that. And I was interested or it was interesting to see like as recently as the 1890s when like that was like the heyday of like evolution and stuff like that. And to me, I thought like that era of the church was really, I don't want to say like progressive in the terms of um like politically progressive, but like progressive in the terms of like science
Mm-hmm.
advancement and stuff. Because that's when like George Lemaitre, like, so in astronomy we have the Big Bang theory
Mm.
was came up came from a Catholic priest, like who studied physics, right? We and like is kind of like not mentioned honorably among like astrophysics people to this day. They're like, oh yeah, astrophysicist George Lemaitre came up with the Big Bang theory in the early, like turn of the century. And it's like, wait, aren't you forgetting something? Like the guy was a Jesuit priest.
Mm.
Like he spent his whole life, he was celibate, he like astrophysics was just like a thing he got into after joining the the church and everything like that. And it's like it was part of like trying to synthesize. He was sort of an apologist in a sense, like trying to come up with a biblical explanation for the extinction of light in the night sky. So
Oh.
if you think of because this is before relativity or anything like or the discovery of the cosmic microwave background or anything like that. But if you think about it, if the universe was infinite,
Mm.
and it was infinitely old, then if you looked out into the night sky in absolutely any direction, your line of sight would line up with the surface of a star.
Hmm.
Thus, the night sky, or the daytime sky, would be as bright as the surface of the sun if the universe was infinite in size and infinitely old. So one of those two things has to not be true. And so we came up with two ideas. Either A, the universe isn't infinitely big, which doesn't make a ton of sense because it's like it's the universe.
Exactly.
Like it should be.
It's everything.
It's everything. Or the universe isn't infinitely old. Like we know light has a speed, right? Like it takes a second for light from the moon to reach us. I mean, you can measure it on Earth. That's how a police radar gun works, which is bullshit and fake. And I tried to explain that in court, but they still gave me a speeding ticket. But no, I mean, radar guns work based on this exact same principle, which is to say that light has a speed and you can measure it. And if light has a speed, a finite speed, and if we look in any given part of the night sky and it's dark, that must mean that light from that part of the universe hasn't reached us yet, which means that must be a finite age to the universe. And so this guy was just like ontologically reasoning through all this stuff, and like he wasn't like coming at it with like a complete Christian attitude, but he's like, oh, there was a cosmic egg and it expanded and now we're in this universe and stuff like that. And it's controversial at the time, but like it's still the thing that we have. And nowadays there's like Christian apologists, legitimately there's like entire not, I shouldn't say industry, but there's entire like field Christian apologist like cosmology that tries to refute the Big Bang because it's like mainstream science. And it's like, no, you guys don't get it. Like this is completely
it was
lining
made by
up.
A priest. It was made by a priest.
It's completely lining up with like the very first line of fucking Genesis. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to do anything here. Like just roll with it. It's great.
I'm on your side, but you're not. Oh.
Our poor man, Cybersmith. You know what? He agreed to this podcast, and he's probably was preemptively arrested.
He's getting booked right now. That's what's happening. Actually, he's squatting.
It's the scene from Hot Fuzz where they're he's getting his prints and the flash photo, and he's getting shoved in the drunk tank and everything like that.
And he's still getting a slice of cake though, because it's a small thing, and they're just like, yeah, whatever.
That would be awesome.
Max, we've lost you. We can still you still have video, but you're very blurry. You're all blurred out now.
Yeah, weird. I don't know what that's about. Okay,
there we are.
Can you see me now?
Now we can see you.
Okay,
maybe it got too dark.
I don't know.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, I just put up a white screen and I'm blind. Okay,
no,
let me turn a light on. You can tell where I am in mountain time relative to you.
Yeah.
Because it's dark where I am.
And I've still got some light here, man. I got 30 more minutes before sunset. Still less than 30 minutes. Old gentleman cat.
Woke my cat up to feed him.
Yes.
That sickly poor cat. Yeah, honestly. Let me see if I can get this up. I don't want to like go through the whole screen share thing.
Oh yeah, that's yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, he's a sickly cat. He'll do better.
Yeah,
he's doing better now.
Good. 4
Yeah,
out of 5 vets do not recommend your cat doing that.
yeah. He's like JFK or RFK
RFK.
Jr.
Yeah.
He's got worms in his
Brainworms.
brain or something.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, how do you feel about RFK's endorsement of Trump? Not quite endorsement,
I
but
mean,
unity party movement with Trump.
it's pretty much an endorsement. Like he's the running joke. I don't know if it'll actually happen or whatever, but like, is that he's going to become the new head of the CIA, which would be pretty funny.
That's not a cabinet position though, is it?
It's not a cabinet position, but I believe it is a position that is appointed by the president as part of the executive branch. So that could happen.
See, I always thought it was the other way around though.
Oh, like the CIA appoints the president. Like you'd think. You would
I mean, the
think.
CIA certainly picks who's not going to be president.
This is true. This is very true.
At least they tried, but
They tried.
then
They've succeeded once. They failed
oh,
twice.
they've succeeded way more than that.
I mean, as far as presidents go,
Yes. Although they nixed Nixon. They set Nixon up.
that's right. They didn't kill Nixon. They just
They didn't have to kill him, but yeah, they did set him up. So that would be two, and then who else were they trying to get? Who I mean, think of one-term presidents. That they kept from getting reelected. Did Dwight do 2 terms?
I think he did.
Okay. I mean, honestly, they probably. Why didn't they assassinate Eisenhower?
I think
They assassinated Patton,
Hmm.
right? And or I guess that wouldn't be the CIA. That'd been an OSS thing.
Yeah.
But they because it was before the CIA, but it was OSS, and so like I wonder. Like, did Patton have presidential ambitions?
I don't think he did. I remember them
But
talking about it, like asking him if he would, and he was like, "No."
well, no, his thing was that he was like the wars shouldn't be over. We need to
Next stop,
finish.
Soviet Union.
We start. Britain started this whole thing to liberate Poland, and we're halfway through Germany. We have to get to the east side of Poland.
We have to.
I don't know if that's a better world, but we had the bomb and the Russians didn't, and we could have ended a lot of things. Who knows if it would have been better if we imposed. I mean, if France is France better off? Actually, like this is a good question for myself out loud right now. Is France better off right now than Belarus? Which would you rather go to or live in?
Live in neither. Go to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick Belarus on that.
You go to Belarus, and Belarus is like flat as fuck. Like I don't know what to see there.
I mean, you'll be able to see a lot of troop buildup along the border that it shares with Ukraine, I guess. So that'd be cool.
I want to go to. I do want to go on a Pripyat tour at some point in my life.
That would be cool if. Yeah, it needs to not be a fucking war zone, but yeah, that would be fucking cool. I've always wanted to do that.
Well, it's like Pripyat's like a DMZ right now. It's like they jointly occupy it, and they're both like we both sit in the control room, like monitoring each other, like no one does anything.
There's just like a bunch of dudes with rifles and like rolling desk chairs staring at each other. They're just like, Or for all we know at this point, they've bonded like World War I soldiers on Christmas Day. Like they're hanging out and shit. They're playing fucking D&D in the control room and shit.
Exactly what's going on. I bet that's exactly what's going on in the fucking Chernobyl NPP. Is they're just sitting around like they're like, "Hey guys, this is the best assignment we could have got. We could have been in Chasov Yar, like charging at each other with fucking bayonets."
Instead,
like
we're in this nuclear plant. We've got fucking broadband internet, motherfuckers. Let's go.
They're all like playing Baldur's Gate together.
Oh my god!
Like
fucking LAN party at Chernobyl.
LAN party at Chernobyl.
That should be like a fucking band title, like a fucking hardcore sludge band.
Honestly,
Chernobyl land party.
when 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 the peace finally gets made, that should be the name of our episode.
Land party at Chernobyl. Yes. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, when there is finally peace in Ukraine, wherever the fuck that is, that will be our episode title about it. So when you see that, you'll know what we're talking about. Man, look at us
What?
making lore for ourselves.
That's great.
What were you?
Did you see the F-16?
Yeah, that got shot down by a Patriot missile battery. Yeah. Oops.
Friendly fire
Oops.
kills one of your only trained pilots on one of your most expensive and possible to get jets.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like doesn't I think I looked it up. It was Russia makes 20 to 30 fighters per year, and we're only able to gift Ukraine like maybe a dozen.
It's because we don't really like. At this point, we're just like, sure, yeah, have some fighters. Like that'll do it. Like.
Well, I mean, isn't the F-16 kind of antiquated at this point? I
It's a
mean,
little antiquated, yeah. Like it's still an effective fighter. Like it's a good multi-role fighter. It can provide
no,
ground support. It's good against anti-air, but it's been around long enough that it's like it's a known quantity.
well,
So
what I would say is, or what I would observe is that if the Patriot missile battery that we're giving Ukraine can shoot down the F-16 that we're giving Ukraine,
yeah, that's. I mean,
um,
if you think about
it
it, this whole thing does just kind of seem like a big weapons testing opportunity.
no, that's 100% where it's at. And where was the Republican who was like, oh, it's the best money we've ever spent on like we get so much bang for our buck killing you Russians with our American equipment, and it's like no, we're sending them like the most expensive shit we've ever had. Like did
Mm.
you not like if the US had sold or had bought like just bought back like the how much does an F-16 cost? Let's just fucking
Look that up, Jamie.
like
Pull that up.
in 1980,
F
when it was
16.
made. good. Like you can collapse a $1 trillion military with just some mad pads. Turns out that asymmetric warfare really, really works,
Yes, it
and
does.
that's what Russia has already figured out. I think at this point, like this is why the invasion has taken so long, is because like they are literally. I know it's an offensive war for them,
Hmm.
but it's an asymmetric war for them, right? They're just like, okay, we're gonna bite and hold, and Ukraine's gonna do an offensive every fucking like 6 months because they get a new batch of NATO equipment, and we can destroy a tank that cost $10 million with a single $1,000 rocket, and we can destroy a plane or drones or Patriot missiles or a HIMARS system for pennies on the dollar right now. Like, didn't Poland recently announce they were like, oh yeah, we just don't have any more equipment to give
I
to
believe,
Ukraine at this
yes,
point?
they're out. Their supplies are tapped. I was also gonna say how it's interesting that like how technological this war has gotten with the drones and everything, and like how fast it reverted back to like slow as fuck trench warfare with just both sides like digging in and just literally gnawing it out at each other over such a long time.
Well, I mean, it's brutal, but I mean, Russia, I think, has really efficiently minimized casualties and also the amount of soldier time on the front. Like they rotate out their reserves. Ukraine can't rotate their reserves out.
They don't
Like
have,
people are on the front.
yeah.
I mean, they don't have reserves. They literally guys are just on the front perpetually.
Speaking of which, like this offensive they launched recently into Kursk, I guess is kind of still ongoing. Like it's slowed down a lot, but I still really don't understand the point of this. Like, I guess the idea is that if they can hold that territory when they eventually get to like ceasefire talks, it'll be like, all right, we'll give you this land back if you give us back all of Crimea and all of this. And I don't think Russia's going to go for that because, like, they have control, they have the weather gauge right now. Like, it's their war to lose, and they're not losing, actually. Like, they are taking casualties, and it's taken some time, but while this offensive is trying to go into Kursk, which my guess also is to like buy time to see what happens with the U.S. election, because like if the Democrats do win, like they'll just keep fucking sending weapons, and this will not end anytime soon. But yeah,
Yeah, they're trying. I mean, legitimately, they caught the Russians
they
off
did.
guard, right?
They definitely did.
They they didn't think like the Ukrainians would actually cross the line of like invading what was Russia proper prior to the war. Um and so the Russians were just like, yeah, we just have a handful of border guards there cuz like the front is in the south. Like we
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to worry about it. But like it's crossing a red line. Like Putin made a deliberate point, or like the Russian government's made a deliberate point not to call it an invasion.
Something like that.
Oh yeah, they because
Special
if it
operation.
well no, I mean the special operations, the war in the south, um, but if it was a foreign military occupying Russian soil, then Russia by law has to actually activate its mobilization, its draft,
Hmm.
and they don't want to. They're like, oh, we don't need it. Like
Yeah.
so they're like, oh, it's an incursion, it's a terrorist incursion. And so they're just like, oh, we'll move some units over there, like we can patch this up, is kind of the thing where they're at.
Mhm.
uh but they're like, yeah, because it's another like thing that just tells you how much like de-escalation want is in the Russian government, because if they wanted to, they could say, all right, well, we had this theater of operations that was respected for the last 2 years, really going back to 2014.
Mhm.
And it wasn't a war against civilians in our like homelands, right? But now you've crossed that line, and here comes the fucking nukes, which I mean, Russia on paper would be justified to do right now. Um, Like if it happened in America, like we would be dropping nukes right now.
Yeah.
It-
Yeah.
At least tactical size ones. Because I mean we don't have even the manpower to like patch something up like that. Russia fortunately does, but like they U.S. would, if the U.S. was in the same foot right now, they'd be like, oh.
Oops.
Speaking of foreign occupations, did you see the Aurora apartment complexes?
Oh, full of Venezuelan gangs with like automatic rifles and shit. Yeah, I saw that shit. Good lord, man.
Yeah. See what?
I said, good lord, man.
Jared Polis had a press conference and said it was imaginary. Oh, I don't know if you're going to pee or going to. Oh, oh, okay. Ah, yes, yes, okay.
Why not?
No, no, why not? I should say, should I feel bad because I sold my 20-inch?
You should. I mean, like, tell your girlfriend you're doing it first so you don't freak her out. But yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, would she? Oh, wait. I thought you were asking if you're going to pull your 20-inch out.
Oh no, I sold it. Is what
You
I'm saying. Should I?
sold it? What?
Yeah,
What's wrong with you? Why? I mean,
I
you
needed
had a
the
good reason.
cash. I don't know. It's
All
like
right, all right. I mean, yeah, you did have that. Yeah, the thing.
my car crapped out. To be fair, it was a Palmetto State Armory 20-inch
Oh,
upper.
then yeah, never mind. But yeah, no, my mistake. I thought you were asking like, should I go pull out my 20-inch? I would have been, yeah, just like let her know you're gonna do that so that she doesn't think your MK Ultra programming's been activated.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna crack a window
Okay,
and refresh my beverage. This poor cybersmith.
poor man. Like
He's sleeping so tightly right now.
he's gonna wake up tomorrow and feel bad, and like he should not. The man works hard.
It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. This
We'll
happens.
we'll try again next time.
Exactly. There's more episodes. Like we're not going anywhere.
We aren't. I mean, 150 episodes in, we're like one of the most consistent
Yeah.
uh ANCAP podcasts out there. What else is there? Tower Gang.
I mean, I honestly have no idea. Like I'm pretty, despite the fact that I kind of host this podcast, I am actually rather unplugged. I don't watch things online or read read Substacks or any. I don't have.
Every time I ask you about like something, hey, have you
Hey, did
seen?
you see this? I'm
You're
just like no. Dude, like it's the same way with like movies and TV shows. Because when I was a kid, I didn't watch new shit. I would just watch like the same shit over and over autistically. Like I would just stim and watch Jurassic Park over and over and over again. So I'm still like I didn't watch The Sopranos until like oh God, I want to say like 6 years ago.
I only started The Sopranos like a couple years ago, to be
It's a
fair,
good
and I didn't
show.
finish it. I need to finish it.
It's a good show. It will hurt emotionally, but it's a good show.
Yeah. So the domestic occupations happening right now are very distressing, says Missile Launch. JC says he loves Tower Gang. I honestly have never watched an episode of Tower Gang through. Um, but I know it's got like 5 relatively funny dudes. Um, and it's probably fun. Survival podcast has been going for a decade, 5 days a week. Oh,
Ooh, good for them.
good for them.
Yeah,
I
dude,
don't know that one.
5 days a week. Damn, that is
That's a lot of
impressive.
podcasting.
That
I don't know
is.
that I have that much to say.
I don't for sure. I definitely don't have that time. I mean, I kind of do, but not in that way. But good for them.
What what are they called? The survival podcast, Missile Launch. Where, I mean, I type in the survival podcast and I can't find them.
First rule of the
I mean, what
survival
other
podcast is you do not talk about the survival podcast.
Nicole? Wait, okay, the survival podcast with Jack Pike Spirko.
Sparrow,
Spirko.
Spearco.
Got a K in it. Um, Okay, like this website looks like, I don't know what to describe it as, but there's way too much going on the front page, and I'm not sure where to like.
Schizobabble front page.
It's a very schizobabble. Uh, okay, how to listen. Best shows for new listeners. Our top food storage episodes. Survival podcast forum. And are they an ANCAP podcast though? Like, do they? Beer Co. It's Beer Co. Tom Woods. Well, Tom Woods is a little more academic than us. You know what I'd say?
This
You
is
know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, Tom Woods obviously. Like, how can we compare ourselves to fucking Tom Woods?
Yeah. Like I wasn't even trying. We're just
Like,
here.
and yeah, he has over 2,000 episodes, and he's been doing this for like 2 decades,
Yeah.
and he's fucking like a legend. So yeah.
We'll get there.
But no,
We'll
I'm
get
talking
there.
about just like, they make the joke about like every dude with a fucking microphone becomes a libertarian podcast. Like, I just don't know where they are.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's fair. I definitely don't, like, as I mentioned earlier, I don't know who they are. I don't watch them. Like, name a thing and I have not seen it.
like
That's my power.
there's some very vaguely like libertarian flavored podcasts out there. I mean, obviously, I watch like Michael Mellis and Dave Smith, but
I follow
I-
Michael Malice on Instagram, if anything, and like I'll get his Twitter posts that way too. But like outside of that, I don't actually listen to his podcast that often.
really,
Really,
I I think it's one of the most rewarding experiences you can
I
have.
think it is a great podcast. Like what I have listened to, like it's fantastic. I don't know, dude. Like if I can't read it, I just I yeah, I just when it comes to this sort of thing, I
He's a
prefer to.
reader.
I'm a reader. Like I don't know what it is. Like I also hate like if I'm trying to form an opinion about something when somebody's talking at me, I'm just like stop. I need to process this myself. You're overstimulating me. That part of my brain needs to not hear speech right now.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I mean, but you can always just like slap that pause button
I
or
can.
like hit the J key and be like, okay, let me listen to that back.
I do. I
You know?
do. I do.
Yeah. I
But
know.
it's
It's
just
just the reason podcasts exist to me instead of like a news item is that A, you're gonna get like some interaction back and forth between two people who are like trying to work something out like we are.
fair. Fair.
Or B, um you're like doing something and you just want to listen to something because you got your hands busy or your eyes are busy, like
You're
you're doing
driving.
some. Yeah, you could be driving, or I mean, honestly, it's better to drink while you're driving. But
This is true. This is true. Yeah. Drinking
the
also helps you retain information better.
I mean, you could just be doing like carpentry or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, yeah,
Whatever.
it's better to also take shots while doing carpentry. But what I'm
Making pipe
getting at,
bombs in your basement, like whatever. Like
that is the ideal podcast scenario. Yeah, you're in your basement, you're 3D printing machine guns and building pipe bombs.
mm,
And that's when you want to listen, just because it's just routine work, right? Like, just like screw on that end cap,
the
pour the stuff
fuse,
in,
the
put on the other
igniter,
end cap,
ball
put the
bearings,
trigger
oxide.
in.
Got to make sure your oxide to like magnesium ratio is good to go, so that like when you set it off, it'll actually burn through and like
Yep. Yeah.
the whole thing. So
Right. Or did I add enough like benzene to
yeah,
separate out the
exactly.
nitrate and
Yeah.
everything? It's just simple stuff, right? Like you can do it
Also,
with
sometimes
having your brain. It's not neofrontal cortex
no, of
engagement
course
stuff, right?
it's not rocket science. It's just bomb science. It's totally different. Like rocket science, you have to go to college for. Bomb science, you don't even have to graduate high school. To be honest with you, like. Oh, speaking
JC
of,
says Ben is a spiritual boomer.
I am a spiritual boomer. Yes, these dang kids.
No, honestly, I think the problem is like your job being like a sales
Mm,
mostly. If you were to more of like a service guy, if you're just in the back like cleaning stuff and like working on
like
arrangements
yeah.
and stuff like that, you'd be listening to podcasts all day.
Oh
I
yeah,
bet.
like if I was a jeweler, yeah, that's what they do. They bring in their headphones and they listen to podcasts and they melt fucking rings. Like my one fucking jeweler, who Do not fucking stop melting customer rings. And if she does it one more fucking time, we're probably going to fire her, which is going to be great because it's going to be right before the holidays and she has twins.
Sneed County Police Department can
Oh,
evict her just in time for the holidays.
exactly. Yeah, the Formula Trucks County Police Department will absolutely remove her from the premises post haste. But she's a nice person. It's a shame, but like as a manager, like you've melted 7 customer rings in 1 year. That's not cool. That's really not cool, man. Like to be really honest, after 3 or 4, we should have like been like, all right, we're gonna take you out behind the shed and like tell us, hey, you want to pet the rabbits, right? Like what we should have done already. But
Oh,
instead,
yeah, that's rough because it's like, I
now
mean,
we're at
like,
seven, man. And like we're like, do you need some more training on stuff? Do you need to like relearn how to use your fucking torch because it seems like you just keep dialing the temperature up too high? I was like, are you just like dissatisfied with your stats or whatever, and you just don't want to do this anymore, so you don't care? Like, what's going on? Because if this happens again, we're gonna drag you out into the parking lot and beat you with socks full of gold shards. Okay, like.
somewhere in her head, and she's just like, well, if I can melt, it can reform. It's fine.
Well, that's she tries to rebuild it, and like to her credit, sometimes it looks okay, and other times it's like a child's drawing conception of what like a wedding ring should look like, and she's like, "Oh, the customer won't notice. They don't have to look at it that closely. They wear it on their hand every day. They look at it. It's the first thing they look at and the last thing. Like they're always looking at it. That's the whole point for people to fucking look at it. So it can't look like a fucking Marine drew it with fucking crayons in between bouts of PT. I'm sorry, it doesn't fucking work. So if you can't get this right, you are be fucking unemployed for the holidays. And you know what? It's not a problem because she's one of those people with rich parents who pay for
Oh,
almost everything. So she doesn't give a shit. She could be unemployed tomorrow and no
she'll
danger
just
of.
start an Etsy shop. That'll
Yeah,
be fine.
exactly. She'll just put fucking turquoise into silver. It'll be great, man. Like little fucking backyard crucible and like 30-day return policy. After that, you're on your fucking own. Oh, you didn't resize? Tough shit. I don't do that. Go to Jared. Go to some jewelry store like I don't know. I can't think of the name of any jewelry stores that might be popular nationwide. So they just escape me at the moment. Certainly nothing like no, there's just nothing.
I'm
There's just
drawing a
nothing.
blank too. I
Just
don't
no.
know any
Like
jewelry
I
store.
feel like there are all these jewelry stores around, but like I must have gotten neuralized every
It's
time I see one because I just can't come up with a name.
my so growing up in Denver, and if anybody's ever in Denver and you turn on the radio in a long enough span of time, you will hear Shane Company.
Shanko, you've got a friend in the jewelry business. Suck my dick,
That's it.
Shanko. Shanko can gargle my salty balls. I drive by their headquarters in Salt Lake City all the time.
I thought they were Denver based.
Oh, they're Denver based. Just kidding. Well, I drive by their store in Salt Lake City all the time. It's this big, massive fucking brick building. Like it's evil. It's the evil empire. Don't buy from Shanko.
Are they really? I
Shanko.
thought,
They don't. They support.
yeah,
I don't
they're
know.
based in Denver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I um in the suburbs of Denver at one point somebody like was like, oh, that's Shane's like granddaughter right there. Like
Hmm.
was like, oh, hey, that's
Oh,
that's
you could have.
that's old money for Denver, I guess.
Oh, there you
But
go. Yeah. Good for
they
them.
were only founded in like 1970 or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. They are a newer company. But yeah, no, outside of Shanko, I just can't think of any names for any jewelry companies that are just out there. Like there's just I don't know. Well, unfortunately, I think the cybersmith is still sleeping soundly and will definitely not be joining us tonight.
Yeah. What is it? 4 in the morning or 3 in the morning
Now
now?
it's 3 in the morning, 3:08
Yeah.
a.m. British Standard Time. So Yeah,
Universal time.
universal time. And for those of our whatever Russian audience we have, it is currently 5:09 in the morning for them. So I hope they appreciate our commentary on the war that they live next to every day and have to deal with on a much more personal basis than us. But
All right. Well, um, with that, I guess we can sign off.
I think so.
Unfortunately, cybersmithless.
Yeah, but that's okay. Like he's here in spirit. He will be on again, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, we need to bring him back. Yeah,
Watch
it's
like next
I
episode.
somehow I never get to talk to Cybersmith. That's the
It's
thing. I'm like,
this is what we'll do. We'll pretend you're not coming on, and then you'll just surprise, and then he'll have to. I honestly
yeah,
don't think he's not avoiding you. It's just it just
no, I
happens.
get it.
It's just shit happens,
No,
dude. Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us for episode 150 of The Altar. That's pretty fucking cool. It's also kind of funny to think about how Matt started this podcast. So now it's basically my podcast, but that's okay because Matt still retains authority, somewhat, kind of. Yeah,
we're
he does.
we're like a crown charter colonial company or
Yeah,
something like
pretty
that at
much.
this
Like
point.
we are the East India Company. And ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to tea and everything else, always remember taxation is theft.